Welcome back to the While We Wait podcast, the podcast about abstinence and celibacy. My name is Winter and I am your host. I have been abstaining from sex for 3 years and yes, I am waiting for marriage. Season 2 is now sponsored by, and yes, that's the entire season. Season 2 is now sponsored by Shiriko. Shiriko is a Black woman-owned soy wax-based candle and more company. They are based in the Bay Area, California. You can find out more about Shiriko by visiting www.shopsharico.com. That's www.shopsharico.com. I'm super excited for season 2. We're bringing you guests, we're bringing you games, we're bringing you fun, we're bringing you super exciting conversations, we're bringing you music, we're bringing you a lot more this season, and it's all thanks to our sponsor, Shiriko. Once again, this entire season of While We Wait, the podcast about abstinence and celibacy, is brought to you by Shiriko, a Black woman-owned soy wax-based candle company based out of the Bay Area, California. And not only do they make soy wax candles, they make reed diffusers, linen sprays, body products, shower products, and more. It's self-care in a luxe way. Yeah, I don't think that we should be trying to pretend that we don't have timelines that we want to stick to. And I think it's healthy to, have a working timeline for yourself and what you want, not just in dating and relationship, but just in life, but always be open to the timing of your life. So although you may have a plan that you've written down, although you may have a timeline that you want to follow, be open and receptive to the timing of your life. The timing of your life may have things arrive earlier or later than you might have initially wanted, but be open to that. Be trusting that your life knows what it's doing. Be trusting that you know what you're doing in your life, and be trusting that your life knows what it is doing. When you really surrender, and that is what abstinence and celibacy is teaching me. It's teaching me how to surrender to my life and trust that my life knows what it's doing. It is teaching me that there are so many parts of myself that I have yet to take the time to properly sit with and explore and celebrate and uplift, that I don't need to be rushing to invite somebody else to be doing it with me, and I don't need to be rushing to be doing it with somebody else. Dating, I really feel, is supposed to be just this really freeing, explorative time that you have with a person or multiple people, because we're all just trying. If we're going to be really honest, we're all just trying. And in trying, we shouldn't have such wild and fantastical expectations for ourselves. I think we all need to extend a little bit more grace to ourselves. And abstaining from sex until marriage has helped me extend myself more grace, especially in dating, because it's just a conversation, it's not that deep. It's just a conversation that I'm having with a man for a certain amount of time. And where that conversation goes, it absolutely will dictate where we will go in that dynamic. But I don't need to be putting all this pressure onto myself to make sure that the conversation does go a certain way, so the dynamic goes a certain way, so that we can then end up in relationship. Absolutely not. I trust the timing of my life, and I trust that my life knows what it's doing. So I'm patient. I'm very patient. Abstaining from sex and entering into a state of celibacy is a great lesson of patience. It's a great exercise of self-discipline and self-determination. You are making a choice to not allow everyone into your most sacred state of being, because you understand the consequences of that. And what you also understand is you can't ever know all of the consequences of that. There are the obvious consequences, but there are also the not so obvious consequences. And those are more spiritual and mental. We don't discuss that enough. And that's why I've always been I've just been a big proponent for people dating. Although I might have shied away from it in my life for my own reasons, I'm not shy now. I'm not shy now. I think I flirt even more so now than I did before, because I know that the flirting is just going to help me just like get to know where a person is at. And I know that, from the flirting, the only more, so to speak, that can come is a date. It's further conversation, is further flirting, is furthering and deepening the dynamic and seeing where it goes. But it's no pressure on myself, because I'm like, well, I'm gonna say whatever I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be a straight shooter. Shoot. Okay. All right. Shoot. But I just think that it just helps me have a better confidence about myself in dating, because I don't feel no pressure to do nothing at the end of the conversation. We came here, we ate out, it was cute, we sat down, had a whole conversation, 4 hours. Wow, look at that. The restaurant's closing, we the last ones here. Oh, what a beautiful storybook moment. And I love having those. And then you know what else I love? Going home. I love going home to my space and being with myself and having the time to debrief, unwind, and examine what I experienced in that moment with that person, and talking to myself and unpacking all of what that was and what it made me feel and why it made me feel, and making the choice of, well, do I want to explore this further or not? And going on with my day. Dating while abstinent and in a state of celibacy, it doesn't need to be difficult. I think sometimes people feel that it's a difficult experience, because I think people have an idea that like people who are practicing celibacy or in a state of abstaining from sex until marriage are walking around, with that on a t-shirt. Like, I'm not having sex till I'm married, so don't even hit me up if you ain't trying to get married. That's not how I'm entering like dating. I'm just not, that's just not how I'm entering dating. I'm just dating. I'm just having conversations with men, and I'm just seeing where those conversations take me. But the reason why I want us to be clear with our language and really like destroy the talking phase and destroy the talking stage. Just destroy that whole remove it from your vocabulary. Like, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Remove it from your vocabulary. Stop putting that onto your spirit. Stop putting that into your life. Don't speak that over yourself. Like, I really want you to throw that out of the window. Throw the talking phase, throw the talking stage out of the window, and close the window, and then open the door, and then step into the world of dating where you're intentional. Okay, where you're speaking your intentions and where you're stating what you want. Here's the thing. Okay. Attention, order in the court. Here's the thing. People are not taking enough control when they're dating. Okay. When you're dating, the only person responsible for ensuring that you receive what you want out of the experience is you, beloved, is you. You're the only person, because the person sitting across from you at the table, they don't know what you want. They have no idea what you want until you verbalize it, until you communicate it, until you state it, until you say it to them. People are not mind readers. And I want people to stop thinking that people are mind readers. People are not mind readers. People do not know what you want. You have to say what you want. So yes. That means in dating, you have to actually say what you want. You can't just keep going on dates hoping that they figure it out. They're not going to figure it out. I'm here to tell you because I love you. I'm here to tell you because I love you. They're not going to figure it out, beloved. You're going to have to tell them. You're going to have to verbalize it. You're going to have to use your language. And you're going to have to be intentional about the words that you choose to communicate what it is that you want, because they're not going to figure it out. Not until you tell them. And I'm telling you this because I love you. I love you so much. And I just want you to have the best dating experience possible, because I feel that I've been having some of my best dating experiences because I've just gotten serious about it. I've just decided hey, listen. Okay. If I'm going to agree to go out to dinner, go just whatever. I'm about to list scenarios. I'm not doing all that. If I have agreed to go on a date with a man who has a mutual romantic and sexual attraction for me as I do him, well, what point is it of me agreeing to do that and then not state my want, needs, and desires during that whole time? What's the point? I want him to figure it out. He's not going to figure it out. How you gonna figure? I don't even know what he wants. You see what I'm saying? There we go. All right. And that's the thing. I don't even know what he wants because I'm not a mind reader and neither is he. That's why you are the only person responsible for your dating experience. If you want to continue to be lackadaisical about it, if you want to continue to say that you're talking to people and I only got one more talking stage left in me, I hope you do. I hope you only have one more talking stage left in you, because I would like for you to leave it in the trash can, and I would like for you to enter the world of dating and leave the world of the talking stage behind you, because that stage offers nothing to you. What benefit is it to you? Of what benefit is it to you to reduce what you're doing? What benefit is it to you to use reductive language around something that you truly deep down inside take very seriously? If you know that you take sex and relationship very seriously, why are you using reductive language around it? Why are you literally putting out into the universe the energy of, I don't really care, because it's just whatever. We just talking. You just talking? Okay, so then don't get mad when they just go talk to somebody else. Don't get mad when they just talk to somebody in front of you, because you talk to people every day. And that's my point. Use words how words are intended to be used. Use words to cast spells onto your life that you would like to see true. Use words as they are intended to be used so that they are always of benefit to you. Because when you use words in any other fashion, it is of no benefit to you. And that's gonna make itself abundantly clear very quickly. Like I said, sit down and write out every talking stage you've had and write out where it went. Okay? And then remind yourself that the common denominator truly is that all of these, they were just talking. We were just talking. We weren't dating. That wasn't my boyfriend. That wasn't my girlfriend. That wasn't my partner. We were just talking. Like, I was just talking to him. I was just talking to her. Like, I was just talking to them. Okay. That's why that's all that they did. That's why all they did was just talk to you. That's why they put no actions behind what they said, because you put no action behind what you said. What you actually said was, I don't mind if you do the bare minimum of the bare minimum, because we just talking. This ain't serious. We just chatting. This don't mean nothing. This don't mean we just talking. We just talking. Whatever. I'll talk to you, later. Later might be, 4 weeks. I didn't ghost you. We were just talking. Right? Stop playing yourself. Like, why are you playing yourself? Like, no, like look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I playing myself? Like, why am I literally going out into the world every day and telling people that I have a romantic and sexual attraction to, that I'm fine with like just talking to them, and I really don't care what their intentions are, because I have no intentions for myself or my life when it comes to relationship, romantic and sexual relationship. That's why I refer to everything as talking. That's really what it sounds like. You don't hear it because it's not exactly what you're saying, but trust and believe it is what you're saying. It's definitely what you're saying to the universe, which is why when you do, because you're going to do it, the exercise, when you do sit down and write out every talking stage you have, you're going to realize the common denominator was you used a lot of reductive language around what it was you were doing with that person. So whatever the highest vibration that relationship or dynamic could have gotten to, well, you just smashed that all down by calling it nothing, really. And yeah, I would just really like to abolish the talking stage. Like, I get very passionate about it because that is so frustrating to me. I just don't like. If you want to be so grown, if y'all want to be so grown, and y'all want to act so grown, okay? If you're going to be grown, act grown. Be grown, act grown. You're dating people. Dating does not mean you're in an exclusive, monogamous, or non-monogamous sexual and romantic relationship with a person. Dating just means that you are getting to know a person who you have explicitly told you have a romantic and sexual attraction to them. And they have reciprocated that by explicitly, verbally telling you that as well. That's dating. Okay? That's all that dating is. Like, that's all that dating is. That's why you can date multiple people. Okay? You can go on a date with Raheem on Monday. You can go on a date with Todd on Saturday. You can go on a date with Jim on Tuesday. And you can see Curtis on Friday. And yes, you're dating all four of those men. Yes, you can be dating four people at the same time. You know why? Because you're dating. You're not in a relationship with them. I'm really trying to figure out where the disconnect is. I don't know why people think that dating means relationship, because dating doesn't mean relationship. Relationship means relationship. Being in a relationship means being in a relationship. Dating, it's not, no, I'm not dating. Dating is what happens before the relationship. And courting is what happens before the dating. If you want to talk about it, actually, let's talk about it. Courting. So courting, to me, if you ask me, courting is what happens before the dating, before the dates. The courtship or the courting is, those mostly brief interactions that you're having with a person that you feel that there is a mutual romantic and sexual attraction to, but it has not been explicitly verbalized yet. And here's what I mean by explicitly verbalized. I mean explicitly verbalized. There has been a conversation where both parties have said that they are romantically and sexually attracted to each other. Now, your language doesn't have to be like as boom, boom, bump as mine. Your language doesn't have to be as clerical, but it does need to be explicitly stated. That's why the courtship is what happens before, because the courtship is that time in between being asked to go on the first date. Basically, it's those brief moments, those brief exchanges of conversation, where it's starting to be felt and understood that, oh, maybe we are both mutually attracted and interested in each other, but neither of us has quite said it. So we're gonna just keep having these exchanges of flirtations and pleasantries and niceties, maybe a gift is exchanged, a flower is offered. It's little things like that are leading up to someone asking to go on the first date. Now you've entered into the dating period. The dating period is you getting to know a person that you have explicitly expressed a romantic and or sexual desire and attraction to. That's what the dating period is. Relationship is now out of the dating period. You're now in committed relationship with a person because you all have agreed that you would like to be exclusive. You would like to stop going on dates with Raheem and Jacob and Jim and Todd and Michael. Like you would like to just focus on Alex now. You would just like to focus on Alex, right? And Alex would just like to focus on you. He's tired of seeing Vanessa and Stephanie. He don't really want to go on no more dates with Rebecca no more. Tiffany was nice, like she was mad cool. Joy was amazing, but he would like to just focus on you right now because you have his attention. And he would like to dive a little bit deeper into that. And now you have both agreed to be in relationship. So now you're no longer dating. Now you're in committed relationship. So you've gone from courting, you've gone from the courtship, you've gone from the dating period to now being in relationship. And then in relationship, there are levels, right? Okay, because in relationship month 1 versus in relationship year 2 are very different. And that's a conversation for you and your partner to have. But I said all that to say that this is how I am entering dating as a 23-year-old woman who has taken a vow of celibacy and is abstaining from sex until marriage, because it brings me peace of mind. And it makes sense. If you ask me, it just makes sense. Like it really just makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense. And for me and how I operate, I think trying to do it like really any other way, it would just like be muddled, and it would confuse me, and I don't think it would be of much benefit to me. So I like to go from the courting to the dating to the being in relationship. And these are not things that you're like supposed to now be trying to like map out and make happen when you meet somebody. No, these are things that are organically happening. Like if you're paying attention, you can realize that you might be in courtship with a person and that somebody is courting you. Like if you really are paying attention, right? Because by the time that you're asked to go on a date, if you look back, what were the interactions like that you were having with that person before they asked you on a date? Exactly. They were courting you. You know what I'm saying? It was a courtship. Because before they asked you on a date, maybe they bought your lunch at work one day. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they made sure that you always had that coffee you like at the board meetings, or at the team meetings. You know what I'm saying? Hey, maybe you meet somebody who works in the store, so every time they see you, they be giving you the extra little 10%, even though they're not really supposed to. Those are all courtship things. Those are all courtship behaviors and activities. You got to be a little bit more aware. You got to be a little bit more aware of your surroundings and what's happening, because you'll realize who you should take seriously and who you shouldn't. That's another thing too when it comes to dating. You need to know who you should take seriously and who you shouldn't, which is why I said dating is casual and dating is fun, because it's just to show you what you like and you don't like. Because it's not that deep. You can go on one date with somebody and determine right then and there, this is our first and last date, and that's okay. It was fine. You were lovely. It's nothing against you. This is just not going to go much further. And that's okay. That's the whole point of dating. The whole point of dating is to determine those things early. But yeah, so I would implore you to seriously, you're going to do it though. What are you doing? You're in the house anyway. Like, what are you doing? Do the activity, sit down, list out all the people in your life experience who you have been in committed relationship with, who you have had sex with, who you believe you might have been in a courtship with. Like, just list these people out. Men, women, all peoples. I want everyone to participate in this activity. And list out those people's names and, write down just a couple of lines. Don't be writing. I mean, if the spirit moves you, write a book, write a novel, write paragraphs. But for the sake of it, just being like an exercise to just help you think more critically about how you are dating, write down their names and just write a couple of lines down about how that experience went. And if how you would categorize it. Would you have categorized that experience as dating the person? Would you have categorized it as the talking stage, or would you have, would you just say y'all were just talking, so y'all were just having sex, and y'all was just talking, y'all wasn't dating like or nothing, or would you say that you were in committed relationship? And then after you write down a couple of lines about what you thought it was, okay, because you thought what you thought it was, I want you to write down what you believed they thought it was. And the way that you can help yourself write down what you believe to be true about how they viewed the dynamic is write down their actions. Just write down their actions. Just put it up against everything you've written down and write down their actions, and then see where that leads you, see what that tells you, and learn from yourself. Your greatest teacher is going to be yourself when it comes to your own life. You're going to be your greatest educator in your own life about your own life. But in order to do that, you do have to do exercises such as this one, And others. I have a ton of exercises. Maybe I'll do an episode on self-exploration exercises in deepening your understanding of dating and relationship. I think I will. That might be a good episode. Y'all let me know if y'all like want an episode like that. I think that'll be a good episode. But yeah, you have to do exercises such as this to gain clarity and identify, behaviors and trends that you're seeing show up that you don't like. Doing a self-audit, a self-review in your dating is really important. I just don't think people spend enough time with themselves, critically thinking and speaking with themselves. Be in conversation with yourself as often as possible. And get outside of your head when you're in conversation with yourself. Like, write these things down, verbalize them, like really, really like talk to yourself and really understand like, yo, yeah, why did that dynamic end that way? Or why did that dynamic shift in this direction? How did this dynamic begin? How did I end up in relationship with that person? When did I start dating this person and why? Was there a courtship period? If there was a courtship period, what did I like about that period? What did I not like about that period? How did this person get me from the courtship to the dating to the in relationship, right? Where did we go? What was said, what was done, what was understood, what was verbalized, what was made explicitly clear, what was not made explicitly clear. Where did that lead me? Where did that lead us? Where has it left me? Where is it going to take me? Do exercises like this so you can have a better understanding of who you are, These have been my thoughts on dating, how I date, why I date, just a couple of thoughts. And I had a really good time doing this episode. This has been episode 7 of the While We Wait podcast, a podcast about abstinence and celibacy. My name is Winter, the silky smooth voice. And I have been your host today. Like I said at the top of the podcast, if you've learned anything today, if you have smiled, if you have laughed, if you have just started thinking a little differently about some things in your life, please consider leaving a donation, a tip, a gratitude tip, and $1 if I made you holler. You can find all the information of where to donate and how to donate on the screen if you are listening on YouTube and if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or a streaming platform. The information will be in the show notes. You can donate via Cash App and Zelle. That information will be in the show notes, or you can rewind this and listen to the introduction of the podcast that discusses how you can donate to the podcast. All love donations and tips and gratitude dollars, if I made you holla, are greatly appreciated because they help me invest back into the podcast. This podcast has been a solo podcast for the first 7 episodes. It will continue to be a solo podcast for the next 3 episodes. Episode 10 will conclude season 1, and season 2 will be released in February. Season 2 is primarily a conversation series. So in season 2, I will be in conversation with many, many, many interesting and amazing people, mostly Black people, who will be sharing their experiences of being abstinent and in a state of celibacy, and people who are not abstinent, not in a state of celibacy, not waiting until marriage to have sex. And they'll be sharing their thoughts, opinions, views, understanding, and knowledge. I believe that every viewpoint is extremely important, especially when you are going down this path. And I want anybody who is listening to the podcast to feel that they have a really well-rounded and balanced understanding of what celibacy and abstinence means to many of people, but especially Black people. I do want to reiterate that This is a podcast for all, which is why the podcast is just titled While We Wait, the podcast about abstinence and celibacy, and not While We Wait, the Black podcast about biggity black, right? I want this podcast to be accessible to all people, and I want it to feel accessible to all people. But I do want to make it clear that, yes, I am a Black woman. So yes, my episodes will be centered around Blackness, because let me tell you something. I'm Black. I'm Black. So you do know what that means? I'm going to center myself first. I am a Black woman. So the world tries to tell me every day that I am not supposed to be the center of attention in my own life. And so every day I choose to not believe that, which is radical within itself. And that means that my podcast will follow suit. I am always going to be the center of my life. And so I am going to center my Blackness in all that I do. Thank you for listening to today's episode. This has been the While We Wait podcast, the podcast about abstinence and celibacy. And this podcast was recorded on January 11th, 2021, episode 7. Only 3 more episodes until the end of season 1. And I'll be back for season 2 after Valentine's Day. So get ready for that. Gear up. If you have any suggestions of topics that you want to hear, please make sure that you are following While We Wait on Instagram. That is @_while, WHILE, While We Wait. Once again, we are on Instagram @_while we wait. Please make sure you're following us on Instagram. You can submit questions. You can propose episodes, things that you want to hear, things you want me to discuss a little bit more. I am literally open to everything I receive. I'm open, I'm abundant, I receive. I am a servant to society, and I am offering my viewpoints, my opinions, and my thoughts because I think that it's important that they are discussed from my perspective and point of view. And with this platform, I am uplifting others who I feel perspectives and thoughts and point of views need to also be shared with society. So thank you. You are abundantly blessed. I hope you have enjoyed While We Wait, the podcast about abstinence and celibacy, episode 7. We'll talk soon. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of While We Wait, the podcast about abstinence and celibacy. I am your host, Winter. Make sure that you leave us a 5-star review and make sure that you are sharing the podcast with your friends, family, coworkers, just people walking down the street. Whoever. Just let people know that this podcast exists. I'm so glad that you sat down and listened to what I had to share today. This podcast is really truly a labor of love, and I appreciate every single one of you who listens. Make sure you check the show notes to know how you can further support the podcast by donating, sharing, sending in emails about topics you would like to hear and content you would like to see me create on the podcast. I'm just super excited. Here we are once again, another year, 2021, season 2, and we're sponsored by a Black woman soy wax candle company, Sharico. We're doing it. So thank you for listening, and make sure you check out our sponsor for the entire season, Sharico. That's www.shop.sharico.com. That is shopsharico.com. It's self-care in a luxe way.